Welcome to Tansson TV Plus. Of course, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Mom.
And welcome back to another video here on the channel. And Mom, I hope that you're doing well.
I am doing fine, Brandon. Thank you so much for asking.
Of course.
Yes. And today, Brandon, we have another winter holiday episode that we're going to talk about. This time, we're going to talk about an episode from ALF.
Yes. And the episode title is Oh Tannenbaum.
Yes. And I believe it's from season 1, Brandon. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. It's one of the first few episodes of the series.
Alrighty. And I will give you just a little synopsis. All right. In this particular episode, Alf destroys the Christmas tree. And then Alf and Willie later go out to find another Christmas tree late at night in the woods.
Well, Mom, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, Brandon.
And yes, and so like I said before, this is episode 12 of the series, and this is the first time we're speaking about Alf on our channel.
It is, and I love this show.
Yes, I do as well. And Mom, are you able to tell the audience a little bit about the show before we continue further?
Yeah, Alf is an alien life form, if I remember correctly. That's what that stands for. And he is Alf is kind of arrives on Earth. And this particular family is a husband, wife, and 2 children. They end up actually caring for Alf, and Alf becomes part of their family.
Yeah, and I really enjoy, like I said, the series. It ran for 4 seasons, very close to the traditional syndication threshold. It lasted 99 episodes.
Oh wow! You would have thought they would have made that last one.
Yeah, and it ended on a cliffhanger.
Oh, I do remember that. I hope I'm not telling my age. I do remember the cliffhanger.
But nevertheless, going back into this episode, so it is their first holiday episode. I don't remember any of it, so maybe the holiday episode, but nevertheless, I think this is a pretty memorable episode in my opinion.
Yeah, it was, Brandon. And once more, we're going to go back to that criteria in which I established about a year ago. First of all, let's talk about that nostalgic feeling. And I did feel that while I watched this episode, and so did Willie, and that's where it stood out. There were a couple things that went on. First of all, there was the Christmas tree, and there was just because they had a live tree, there were different feelings the whole family thought about that live Christmas tree. And then Willie actually went as far as to tell a little bit about his life and in regards to the Christmas tree and what it meant to him. And so that nostalgic feeling really was there in regards to the tree. Brandon, did you have any thoughts about this?
Yeah, I definitely felt that it was very nostalgic. And yeah, a lot of emphasis was placed into the Tanner family trying to have a traditional Christmas, and it was Al's very first Christmas.
Yep, they spent some time trying to explain some of that to him.
But yes, and Alf, of course, confusing all the different holidays.
Yes, he was. And then one of the things that we talked about was the discussion of the tree. And in this episode, it really was, the majority of it was about the discussion of the tree and how since Alf destroyed the tree by making firewood, he had to go, he tried to understand what the tree really meant. And so Willie kind of went through all of that with him.
Yes, and I will say that out of this episode, that one thing I probably remember the most is the sequence with the fake tree.
Yes, yeah. They had a nice little sequence in which they did have a fake tree, and Willie was supposed to put the tree together, and that in itself was kind of funny to watch. All right, and then another thing that a criteria is a family feeling, and this and Alf in itself, the show does kind of give you a family feeling, and this episode did too.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. Yeah, I think this episode sort of embodied the homey feeling of the series, and I know the series wasn't originally made per se for families, but nevertheless, I think by the time this episode released, it had solidified its place as home entertainment.
Yeah, and then of course we have to have a cute kid in it, and yes, and in this case it probably was Brian, who's kind of like the cute kid who's in this episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but overall, Brandon, I really liked the episode. I thought you were right, and so the audience knows you. This is an episode that you did select, and so I thought this episode did a great job of kind of embodying the winter holiday spirit and feeling, and um, and so I think it's a great episode to watch.
Yeah, and even though this isn't a part of our criteria per se, is that this one did use a sort of dream sequence towards the middle, which out of every type of episode, I feel like Christmas episodes use them the most.
They do, they do.
But yeah, and so in this case, it is that Willie thought that he could bring home a real tree, which is really a fake tree, and then Alf came and touched it as the Christmas tree repairman, and then all of a sudden it's a fake tree, and now all of his family has left him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was a quick dream sequence, and just so the audience knows, I'm not a big fan of dream sequences, but I know you are for some episodes. So in this case, it worked.
Yeah, and I will tell the audience too that I did have this whole season of Alf on DVD, so I've seen this episode numerous times over.
Yes, yes, yes. I think you have watched Alf more than I have.
And I will say too is that the current distribution company for Alf, Shout Factory TV, they have actually been releasing the unedited versions of Alf to YouTube, and so it was really interesting being able to see like the full version of the episode for once, and for me the first time.
Yeah, I'm sure it was, Brandon.
But yeah, and so yeah, but is there anything that you had actually remembered from this episode prior to our watch?
Um, I think just the fake tree is what I remember. And so that one stood out to me. Well, and obviously you've seen it so many times that you remembered it.
Well, yeah, I know for me, yeah, a part of one of our other criteria, which is memorable quotes, for me, it is the very beginning where Alf comes into Willie's and Kate's room and says, "Merry Christmas Eve, I've hidden all the eggs."
Yes, and that was a line that was memorable. They found eggs all the way through the episode.
But yeah, and so overall, I said I just really enjoyed this. I thought it was a nice, fun episode. And if there's any episodes of Alf that you would like us to watch, definitely let us know.
Yeah, please let us know in the comments. I mean, we've gone through some TV shows. Of course, we don't have time to go through as many as we like. But if there are any holidays episodes that you like, let us know.
Yeah, definitely. Please do. And Mom, like I said, I always love doing this with you.
I enjoy doing this with you also, Brandon. All right. I hope everyone has a great day.
We'll see you next time.
Bye bye.